Warning: the following contains explicit language and subject matter that may not be suitable for younger listeners, church folk, and people who enjoy kale smoothies.
That's like a real thing. There's not as much static in Florida.
Yeah, no, there's moisture in the air. You don't get static when there's moisture in the air.
You would think that seems like counterintuitive because you would think it would be the other way. With moisture in the air, the static would be more. It would conduct easier.
Right, because there's water.
Yeah.
No, I don't know why, but I think the water. I can't tell you exactly 100%, but like for example, if you want to make a room less staticky, humidifier.
No shit.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day, man.
It's
all right,
something.
let's do the intro.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Pod Amongst Men. I'm your host, Steve B., and these are coffee break conversations for the 21st century. I'm here today. Got some family in the house. You guys already know Raymond J. You've seen him on one of the episodes not too long ago. Yeah, he was supposed to be my producer, but COVID kind of ruined the whole plan there. And we got his big brother. We got Lester J. So we're going to have a little fun today. Going to do a little bullshitting. We're gonna talk about the games that made us. Because now, I don't know if you guys have like watched Netflix at all.
Absolutely.
So there's a series that they had. It was called The Toys That Made Us,
right.
And then they had a spinoff where it was The Movies That Made Us, where they talked about like classic toys and then classic movies, and it's kind of like each episode is its own little mini documentary about each thing. And I was like, man, they should do one of those for like video games because especially in our generation, your generation. Like video games, we were the first wave, you know. I mean, unless you want to count the people that had Atari, which is not really the same thing. Because when I was in, I think it was in kindergarten when we got NES, get the original Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
We get the Super Mario Brothers that also had Duck Hunt on it, and it came with the gun.
Oh, the light gun, the zapper.
And, dude, that was like a game changer.
I'm still jealous.
That changed our entire world.
Still jealous.
No, yeah, I remember having seen that for the first time. It was wild.
Yeah, and like you could shoot at the TV, Mom, and the duck actually gets killed.
Yeah, absolutely. The Dreamcast. I don't know if you know about it, but the Sega Dreamcast had something close to that. It was the Sega light gun, and it was the same idea, but you can play the arcade classics like. Night of the Dead. I don't remember the name of the game. House of the Dead.
Yeah.
I had House of the Dead with the light gun from that. It was one of the best things ever.
Yeah, lucky him. I had to play it on a PS3 controller while demo. I didn't even understand the thing. I was just like, shoot the zombies, they'll die. I don't know.
I played House of the Dead on a Windows computer with a mouse, like with the mouse and keyboard.
No, that slaps. Have you ever heard of Typing of the Dead?
Typing of the Dead? No, I did not.
It's House of the Dead, same developers as House of the Dead. Except in order to defeat the zombies and the things that are coming at you, you have to type and elaborate. Like, you have to type what's on screen. Every time you finish a word, you kill a zombie or an enemy.
Oh, that's cool. That's like one of those like Mavis Beacon things, like the typing programs.
Except
I thought you were saying like you literally shoot this motherfucker in the head, like enter, return.
Yeah, it's like that, but it's like for absolute typing crackheads, just da 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 da.
Oh my god,
yeah, I love it.
So, let's take it back. Lester, you're a little older, so. What was the first system that you got?
I was born in '93, and I was born in Cuba. So the first system I ever had was Super Nintendo, and we had to basically rent it from anybody on the block who had it because availability was really low back then. So we would get it from a friend, and he had specifically Killer Instinct and Super Mario World. Those were the two first games I'd ever played. And they were amazing. Like I still to this day.
A little bit closer to you.
Those are still like the best games I'd ever had. Like to this day, like I still play Killer Instinct with him.
So that was in Cuba. So wait, how old were you when you came to the U.S.?
I was 6.
Okay. Oh, so you came before Betty, before my wife.
No, actually, Betty was here waiting for us when we came from Cuba. Yeah, we stopped in Miami.
I don't know. Like I guess I never really did the math.
Right.
Which is a little shameful considering that's my wife. But I always had it in my head that she came here in 2000.
Yeah, but just a little bit earlier than us. That's really it.
Okay.
Yeah, they were already in Miami by the time we stopped. We went to Cancun, then Miami.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had Super Nintendo in Cuba.
Super Nintendo. with Killer Instinct.
Were you guys like, did other kids, other families have like the games, or were you guys like the only house on the block?
No, it was another family on the block that were the only family that had it, and they basically rented it to anybody, but they can only rent it for like a day, or most people didn't even have the money to rent it. You know, it's either food or play some games. So that was kind of the time I was living in, but
Yeah.
it was a blast. Everybody came over. Every time we had it, everybody came over to play.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, Raymond, you were born in what year?
2004.
2004. Fucking young, man. Make sure you're speaking to the mic a little bit. Here, you want to pull it up a little bit. There you go. So, what was the first system you remember having at the house, like playing as a kid?
Playing, the first thing was I remember like the first thing I ever played was probably either the Dreamcast or the PC. And I was playing like Oblivion, or I was playing Crazy Taxi, and then I hopped on the Wii and I would play some of that, and I'd play some tennis, baseball, and I'd be like, yeah, bro, like, come on, RNG God out here.
See, look at the difference between like the systems that we started off with and the system he started off with.
It's
Crazy.
wild.
It's so easy to forget like how much change in that like short gap.
But
that
on
short span.
that topic, fun fact about Raymond: at 2 years old, this kid was playing Super Mario World, and through I think it was 3 days later, he ended up beating Super Mario World. At 2 years old, through the Star World, it was the Star World shortcut. You know, when you like go through Star World, you come out and then you go straight to Bowser's Castle at the end. You used to be able to beat it at 2 years old with that, because it was one of the first consoles that like we like said, okay, you can. This is yours. You can have it, because he really wanted to play video games. Kid was crazy. Still is with the skills.
See, I never had Super Nintendo. I had Nintendo, and then eventually we upgraded to Sega Genesis.
Okay, you made the jump.
Yeah,
Sega
but I mean,
does what Nintendo don't.
but that was like the original Sega Genesis.
Yeah, the good stuff.
I remember playing Sonic the Hedgehog was the first game. That was the game everybody had. I remember having a boxing game. It was Evander Holyfield's Real Deal Boxing. Real Deal, you know,
I
get
think
it.
I've heard of it.
But you could like make your own boxer. Basically, just pick what color his hair is and what color his trunks and skin is, and that was
that
it.
sounds awesome.
But for Sega Genesis, I remember playing that. And I was
Yeah,
like,
back in the day, customization in an old game.
Yeah.
That sounds hella advanced.
So when you guys were young, so how old were you when you guys got the Super Nintendo? Like, how old were you? You said you were.
Like Super Nintendo, we'd been renting it all the time since I was born, because my dad used to like playing it.
Okay, I guess 93. Like it was.
Yeah, since because whenever it was that Nintendo came out, I think it was like a couple of years later that we ended up actually being able to play that system.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I remember like when the original Nintendo came out, like I know because when I was really young, when like before we moved up to this part of Jersey, you know, my mom and my dad, my biological father at the time, they didn't have a lot of money either. They were like 22 years old.
Right.
We lived in South Jersey, but that they had gotten that NES, and it was like the late 80s. I remember. I think I didn't even actually start kindergarten yet, if I recall correctly. But I remember having that, and then like, I don't know, it was different back then, because I know kids nowadays, it's so easy to get lost in the games and you spend all your time like playing. Like for you, it's a little different because you play competitively, but
Right.
like with Ty, I see him inside, and it's like if you didn't say anything to him, he would literally play all day,
Yeah.
like not without stopping, barely even stopping to eat.
Yeah, no, I feel him though. I used to be on Roblox all day, and I think he's into like the kind of same strain of games as me. I like tycoons a lot. Like something about just like building and building and building just gets me. Like I have to. Like if I don't reach the top of the leaderboard, why am I playing the game? What's the point of this? I don't get it. And I mean, I guess Tyler's on the same boat. He's just like.
But he's different with it. Like he can play all day, but he's not competitive in that sense where like he wants to be the best. Like he wants to play and have fun with his friends.
Yeah, he seems like a sharer to me. Like he likes to
Yeah,
bring it all together.
like he's only into grinding like sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you know, for people out there listening, I know this. We're gonna get pretty nerdy with this, so be prepared. You know, if this is not your cup of tea, it's not gonna change much for the rest of the episode. So be warned. But you know, with most games, like they're a grind. You level up. You gotta find this. You know, find whatever. And like with him, like it really is like. I feel bad saying this, but he's always like, he doesn't find the beauty in the grind, like the fun in the grind, in the playing. Like he wants to fast forward to the end or find like a workaround or you know.
But you
Thank
know
God
what?
there's no cheat codes anymore because he'd be all over those.
Honestly, I can say the same. When I was way younger, I think 11, 12 years old.
Hmm.
That's the first time I'd ever gotten the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Okay.
And like, think about that. I mean, Morrowind, I would barely recommend to an adult nowadays. As great a game as it is, the grind is intense. You couldn't even hit enemies back then. You would just swing and swing and swing, and it was a miss. It just depended on your luck stat.
Hmm.
And so, like, while I I get what you mean, I also understand like wanting to skip the entirety of the
Yeah.
grind. It's a lot nicer nowadays than it used to be, but
Some
I
game-
totally get it. I used to find all the exploits. I used to be able to do magic tricks on the ground to make myself stronger and everything. Yeah.
But like some games kind of struggle to find that balance between challenging and overkill,
yeah,
where it just feels like homework at a certain
Exactly.
point.
It is.
absolutely.
You know?
No, you're right though.
There's like a couple of battle royales that I like playing, and I think Warzone killed it for me. Like I play a lot of Apex, and I will go hard on Apex, and I'll
Mhm.
probably sooner or later maybe get to like the highest rank if I tried. But Warzone kind of killed it for me. It's like you have a game, right? You made the game. The developers are with you on this. There's a bunch of people streaming it. TikTok's on it. YouTube's on it. You can have a podcast about Warzone. People can know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the game's meta. Like, I tried playing it so many times, and everything that's it's based upon is you literally go watch a YouTube video. And it's like, all right, these two weapons are the weapons that people are using. And if you use that other class, this and this and this, but this class. And so they have, like, the MAC-10 and a sniper. Can't play the game, dude. It's like the MAC-10 shoots faster than the minigun, and
Well,
it kills in 3 seconds.
That seems to be the problem with a lot of games is, whether it's a fighting game or shooting game, like there's the best, weapons or the best characters that you can use.
Exactly.
And if you're not using that, then you're just not going to be able to compete with the people out there.
Where's my battle royale?
So like the grind for like those online games is a whole lot different. It's like instead of a grind to level up your stats in the game, it's kind of like a personal grind to level yourself up to be better than at the game. And like that's where he absolutely excels. And like I agree, like there's always a meta in every game. But
What do you mean like a meta? Like
a meta is like something. It's like there's something in video games called min-maxing where you do the least of the thing that's the weakest and the most of the thing that's the strongest.
Okay.
So basically, meta is like people following. For example, if there's a gun that's the most powerful, the meta is to keep everybody plays with that gun. Otherwise, you're just shooting a wall. You know what I mean?
there's
You're playing against nothing.
There's no fixes for the things.
Yeah. So like that's what patching is about nowadays, and like developers patching. But games I use like as an example of like meta can overtake a game so badly that it can destroy the community. But you can also like you can also find it like in Smash Brothers, for example. Shout out. There's this guy called Hungrybox. There was a meta for like
Hungrybox is what, like a gamer?
He's a gamer.
Okay.
He's there. Everybody played two characters: Fox, Falco, maybe Marth, right? And he came in with the slowest possible, most defensive character, and went up against the meta technically, and people just didn't like the way he played, and he was like defying the meta a lot, and just because of him, I like games like that because you can break metas just as easily as you can make metas. Like you might be able to use a gun that's the least overpowered and do a lot with it.
See, I never really got too deep into online gaming. Like the first game I really ever played online was Halo Reach. And I quickly realized, like, listen, there's no way I'm going to be as good as these people, and I don't have the time to improve to work on it that much. So, fuck it, I'm not doing it. But then the only other game that I really played like that was Pokemon. Was the new Sword and Shield, where I had to really, because I don't know, you guys have played Pokemon back in the day. Like you play like the story and you battle against Elite Four and everything.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as when you're battling other people, because other people, there's not making the mistakes that a computer's going to make. A computer's just going to use a random move. Like people have strategies. People can actually level up stats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What is that? I think I got some
Pokemon
rum
Go.
left over on there. But there's like certain Pokemon in the game that have higher stats, and you see when people play online, they use, this is my all legendary team.
Right.
It's like, well, where's the fun in that? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like they're legitimately like stronger Pokemon to use. You have a stronger team. Like they have higher stats. Just on pure statistics, yeah, of course they're better. But where's the fun? If everybody's using the same, handful, like, what's the point in playing now?
That's what I mean.
So I think I was having a talk with him the other day about like, there are some games that are unmeta-able. You know what I mean? There's this game he really likes to play called Rocket League, where it's like, it's
Can't do anything.
It's like
about
car
it.
soccer.
Yeah.
Can't do anything about it. You got 4 cars, and those 4 cars are the basis of all the cars that are gonna come out.
Yeah.
Can't do anything about it. Maybe there's one, and maybe there's like an unknown ritual that happens with that car. Then somehow it gets like a lot bigger. But I'm using that car now because I don't like it. So, there's no meta. You can't meta around it. There's no way to have one car bigger than the other or smaller than the other. There's 4 certain hitboxes.
Yeah.
And that's the 4 like main cars of the game. So every other car is based on that. Even if you're gonna go out and buy it, it's still gonna be the same car.
Yeah.
No matter what.
But you were mentioning developers patches where they, after a game comes out, when they see, everybody's gravitating towards this. Like I remember with Tekken, they had an issue. They released a character. What was it? The guy with the white dreads? I don't know. Leroy.
Yeah.
When they released him, he was like so good. It was just like when they had the World Championships, people were all using Leroy.
That's a normal problem. When a character gets released in a fighting game, the problem is that people don't know the matchup. Like if somebody comes out of left field doing something completely different, nobody's used to that fight. Part of what makes Tekken is that it's an established more than 10-year-old game. Like we're talking about, dude, Eddie. I used to play Tekken 3 back in the day.
Okay.
Like really, really hard. And there was this character called Eddie Gordo. Eddie Gordo is the
did
same
capoeira,
character now. Exactly. He's the same character now as he was back in the 90s. So, like, there's nothing that changes. This character's been established. Everybody knows the matchup against that character. Leroy came out with a moveset that was unfamiliar to people. But now, you don't see Leroy in tournaments anymore.
Well, they actually released a patch for him, I believe, to kind of... their developers commented on that. They had to nerf him a little bit, you know? So, since we're talking about, like, being wrapped up in games, like kids being totally engulfed in these things.
Right.
Like, I know for me... I feel it. Like when you're playing, especially nowadays, when you're playing a game, some of these games are so amazing, it's easy to lose yourself in.
Yeah,
I bet.
So,
I bet.
Like, do you guys ever struggle to kind of regulate your own screen time? Because I know for me, like, I have to really, like, I have to have a stern talking to myself, like, bro, put the fucking controller down, go take a shower, like, just, you're done for the day.
No.
Like, you have a family, people are probably waiting on me right now. Like, I can't be doing this.
I'm all about the, play it, do it until like my body's like, all right, like I'm gonna die soon. Can we stop? I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll go to sleep or whatever. But,
I want to come back to that. But what about you, Lester?
I definitely have the moments. I mean, I have a life outside of it, and I would love to play more. But
you're engaged now.
I'm engaged, so there's a lot that.
Congratulations, by the way. I know I told you, but congratulations.
So yeah, I do have to have that talk with myself too. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, all right, hold on a minute, it's starting to get a little too long.
Well, you see, you're lucky because your fiance's a gamer also.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So you get a lot more leeway than the average Joe is gonna get.
But the thing is that she's not a competitive gamer, and I'm a competitive gamer. She's an RTS type. She likes real-time strategy, top-down, like city builders, Sims, those type of things. So yeah, like it's really difficult to even get like that perfect mix sometimes because we played Rocket League for a while, but the salt is too strong.
So you were talking about playing until you got nothing left.
Yeah,
I mean, how do you see that down the road? Like,
not at all. I always see it good in the long, cause I'm like, all right, I could stop playing right now, but I haven't affected my gameplay yet. I'm not tired.
No. What I mean is, like, how do you see that affecting you down the road? Like, you physically, your body. Like,
it's just my sleep schedule. I have a terrible sleep schedule all the time.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I get that you're young, so you could get away with a lot more than the two of us can. But,
yeah.
I mean, you're not that old either, so. and then I could. But,
I still have to,
I mean, eventually that's going to come to a head, I would think.
I got to use it to my advantage right now. I can't. I noticed when I was just like sitting there one day and I was grinding out a game and I look around and it's 4 a.m. and everybody's going to work. I'm like, jeez, I get to sit here and play games. See you guys later.
Nice. Wait till you have to get a job though.
No.
Yeah,
You're going to have to eventually. I mean, if you want some walking around money.
That's true.
For real.
Luckily, I mean, where you live, like, we went through New Brunswick. There's a bunch of cool places. You can get a job anywhere in there and then hit on all the college chicks that come by. I mean, I'm not telling you to be a creep. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of young people there.
Yeah, no.
You're in a good position. All right, so I asked you guys to think about this before we started recording, and it was, what are your top 3 games of all times? So what I want to do is we'll each give one, starting at number 3, eventually getting to number 1. As a matter of fact, let's put that on hold. Before we get to that, if you can think back, as a kid playing, even up until now, did you ever play a game that when you like started getting into it, you realized, like, Jesus Christ, were you ever just blown away by a game? Like, just looking at the landscape, just the gameplay, anything. Like, was there ever like an oh shit moment for you?
Big
so
shit
many.
moment. Destiny 2 like cracked me in
Destiny
half.
2?
Yes, I was playing it and I'm going through this and I'm like, we're doing a raid, whatever, yeah, the usual. And I'm like, brr, 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 and I'm keep walking. I'm like, holy, what? Oh, they made this? Like, this is the game? I'm playing this right now? And then it just turned into the lobby. But all the cinematics in that game were, like, way too good for no reason. And it was also very good competitive-wise and, like, grind-wise, too. Like, everything about the game was put together correctly. So I liked it. And I was just like, wow, the scenery is great and the game's great. Let's do it.
I had a similar moment like that playing Halo 1.
Oh.
But that's not my pick, but I remember playing Halo 1 being like, "Oh man, look at this. Like, they designed the whole world. Like, this is crazy." Cuz at the time that was Xbox, the original Xbox.
Yeah, dude, I also remember playing Halo 1 and getting that feeling. I remember I loved how that game looked so much that I went, and when you go inside of the like, I don't know, the spaceship of the aliens or their fortresses, like, you go inside and I was just looking at the walls because they had reflections, and like no other game at that time had reflections. I was just like, that's crazy. No matter where I move, I can see the reflections. It's crazy. That game blew me away. I remember sitting there for hours just looking at landscapes.
That game took up a lot of my life as a teenager. Into my teens, and then when Halo 2 came out, like, because we played competitively, but amongst friends, like in the local, like the landline, like we would set up like an old school router with Ethernet cables, like put multiple TVs in a single house.
Yes, sir. I remember bringing my Xbox and TV to my friend's house all the time.
Yeah,
and CRT TVs. We're talking about the big heavy ones, like the. Oh,
I'd grab my PS3. I was that kid on the block. I'm like, come to my house, play some Dead or Alive. I've never played this game before. And then there's this kid training me all day. And I'm just like, I come out and I'm just like, ooh, I got the sauciest movements. It's over. Nobody can touch me. And so I'd take my PS3 and be like, yeah, I'm going to lose, whatever. And then I'd leave their house with them almost kicking me because I'm like, it's okay. Come on, I ain't doing anything.
So what about you? What game blew you away?
so many. The one I can think of at the top of my mind is the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Like, I remember the first time I logged into that. Like, I don't know. You know, like, there was a certain point in my life where I was not about that slow grind RPG type thing. But that day I turned on that Xbox for the first time, it hit me different. I was just like, wow. And then I started up the game. You're a prisoner. You're coming onto a new island, and then it's like it's just free. Like, I'm like, can I go over there? Can I go over? It's crazy.
Oh, I can. I can do this. See, now my choice is also an Elder Scrolls. Mine is Skyrim.
Wow.
Because when I played Skyrim, like, after you do the first like introduction thing where you break out of the prison camp kind of thing,
you finally
always a prisoner.
Yeah, and you just like you go out there. It's like, okay, where do I go? Oh, anywhere.
Anywhere, exactly.
And then like when you start like doing quests, you're like, I feel like I'm in Lord of the fucking Rings. Like, you just it's like oh, I want to go over here. I literally have to climb a mountain, and it's like a epic journey. I'm like, Jesus, and you're just looking around. There's no like. There's really not much loading unless you're going into a city.
It's pretty
like
fantastic.
It's all for the most part seamless, and it's just like Jesus Christ. And that game kind of ruined my life for several months.
Yes, sir. I remember having to, because I knew what I was signing up for. I remember having to tell everybody goodbye for a little while because I was getting it on PC of all things. So I was like absolutely blown away. I even played Oblivion before that, like when both of my arms were broken. So I had these gigantic casts scratched up the desk because I had to play it. I was just like, just trying to play that. I loved it so much.
I always wonder, like, you always hear the stereotype of like guys playing video games and their girlfriend or their wife is like, why are you playing that? Basically giving them grief. Why are there so few in comparison to men, female gamers?
Stigma.
Is it stigma? I mean, I
feel like it's.
Do they just not find enjoyment in it the way the guys do?
I think it's just the weird manlyhood they put around it, and it's like, listen, like, we play games and we talk within each other. But if you come into the same environment with the same energy, then obviously it'll be the same thing.
Let's put like online aside, like just playing a game, like even if you're just playing like fucking Animal Crossing or something. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? It's a simple thing. It's fun. It's cute. Like it's just I don't know. I still feel like definitely nowadays there are many more female gamers out there, especially look on Twitch, look on YouTube. Like they're there, but it still pales in comparison to males.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I pick, for example, like my wife. She's total gamer, and as a matter of fact, she has a Game Boy Color with the printer, with the camera. I remember
and the
that.
Printer. I remember that.
She still has the print and the paper to it.
Oh, wow.
So she had so many roles. She's but yeah, the big deal is like there's not that many like strong female protagonists that aren't like necessarily like, you know, the Tomb Raider, for example. Like she's cool and everything, but like mostly people just wanted the triangular.
Yeah. The point. With the parking cone titties.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, basically like the only game I can think of like is like Half-Life Alex or Half-Life with Alex
Metroid
and all that. Metroid, yeah, but like most people didn't even know
That's
it was a female.
It doesn't count if people are surprised when you tell them that Samus is a girl.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of games are like kind of geared towards guys because she's making me realize that a lot. Like for example, an RTS is the most neutral game you can play.
Mm-hmm.
You're like the commander, or for example, Tropico 5. You're like the president of a tropical country, or the dictator of a tropical country. However it is that you want to do it. But that game is completely neutral in terms of like what it is you got to do, or like there's no like action hero, female.
That's funny because I feel like so many games nowadays, like when you do create a character, whether you're playing Halo Reach or whether you're playing, I just played Ghost Recon while I was out of work for the COVID. Like you make your character, you could pick man or woman. Like it's not gender specific, you know.
No, but I mean it's like I think it's the way that like it's written more than anything else. It's
really
hard.
tough.
I mean, I'm not necessarily.
What do you mean the way it's written? Like the stories?
Yeah, like
because consider the stories. I mean, if you say you like watching Netflix with the family at home, my wife likes watching, you know, most of the shows I like. If she sits down and watches it with me, she enjoys it. And with video games nowadays, the stories and like the actual, you know, when they make them, the creation of it, it's some of them I put right on par with some really good TV shows.
Yeah,
you know, like it's quality entertainment. Like it's written well, most of them.
I think about it like maybe you make a game, right? And you say this is the script, and the script wouldn't change no matter what. So, Cyberpunk, for example, they call you V. Your name's gonna stay V, female or male,
right?
And the name's gonna be around male or around female. But normally in most games, it's around male. And it's like, it's really like, it uses a lot of the slang that men would use around them. It'd be like, yo, dude, this and that. And, you know, you don't really get like the same, oh, I'm a female. And they acknowledge that, and I'm playing the game as a female.
But do you think that that's something that's keeping women from playing video games?
Something like that.
And like the stigma, for example, you and I growing up could play all the video games we want. But like, for a girl, you could have family saying like, "Come on, you're a girl. You shouldn't be playing video games."
Yeah, what are you,
type
tomboy?
Stuff, you know? What are you? Exactly. So there's a lot of stigma around it too. On top of like the writing in games, the stigma from the outside also doesn't help. There's a competitive gamer called Yu, and she often talks about like how if she loses to a guy, she lost because she's a girl, but if she wins, she won because they were taking it easy. You know what I mean? So it's not. It's kind of hard to even break into the competitive scene.
Even if you win, you still didn't win.
Yeah,
properly.
Exactly.
No, I've had some girls hand it to me, man. I can't even lie. Like, I've been playing some competitive games, and I'll just be like, GG. Just be like, GG. I'll be like, what? Are you serious?
Hey, push that a little bit away from your mouth.
Let's see.
Perfect. I've been trying to get Batika to play, and like, you know, she's fine. She'll watch for like 5 minutes if I'm playing something, but I don't know. It's just something in her brain. Like it doesn't do it for her.
Well, you have to consider gatekeeping too, and what we consider gaming. Does she play like phone games?
No, she doesn't play. Games are just not a thing for her.
No games at all. No phone games. No
nothing.
She's
just not interested, I guess.
One time, my mom took my PlayStation to play billiards when I was little. I was so mad about that. But yeah, I consider her a gamer. She plays phone games, the spelling games, all sorts of stuff. But game is gaming, you know.
I wanted her to play Pokemon.
You should.
Here's the thing, because listen, that for me is always going to be one of my favorite, probably my favorite franchise of all time. Just because as a kid, I loved it, and I kind of stayed with it all throughout the years, even as an adult. And now, because I got Tyler into it, I kind of rediscovered that love of it.
That's the best.
So I wanted Batika to get on it too, especially, you have something like Let's Go Pikachu, where you could kind of redo that whole Kanto experience, the original, generation. And she just wasn't into it.
Well, you have to consider accessibility. There's a lot you learn when you're teaching somebody to play about how much is like already ingrained in us from having played so many other games. Like, for example, a game tells you jump, you already know what button you're going to press.
Yeah.
Somebody who's new to a game would have no idea. They'd be like, huh? Jump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They try everything, but like there's a lot of things that like are totally like base to us.
It's like burned into
Yeah,
our
just
neural
burned
pathways.
into our memories. Yeah,
No,
and like you'd be surprised how much of that type of stuff that video games use that don't like consider somebody new to the entirety of video games.
That's
like
true.
they never consider somebody who's completely new to video games.
I watched a YouTube video. It was a guy teaching his wife how to play video games. So he let her play Breath of the Wild.
Oof. Bada bing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because it's not that steep of a learning curve, I guess. It's not crazy with the controls.
No, yeah.
But he was just watching, and like the way she figured out how to do things, and the way she kind of developed that hand-eye coordination.
Right.
Excuse me. Like you said, it's totally different because like we grew up playing games, so some things kind of stay constant all throughout.
Yeah, yeah.
And for her, she's literally learning from the ground up. She has no base
like,
level yet.
It's like learning how to drive a car with a manual Corvette. You know what I mean? Like you're just like, oh wait, hold on a minute. I've never even driven a car, let alone a manual and a racing car of all things. You know what I mean? So it kind of, you have to take that into consideration when you're teaching somebody how to play, and
That's
what
true.
games you think might be the most accessible. You could start her on phone games, But
Well, that was why I wanted her to play Pokemon, because it's not really crazy with the controls. Most of it is about the strategy.
right about what
Like
to
there's
pick
no
and what-
timing or anything like that. Like you just run, jump. Oh, can that guy see you? All right, don't run that way.
Right,
Very
right.
simple. All right, so let's go back now to our top three. Okay, so start from number 3 and work our way up to number 1 of our favorite of all time. If we can, I know this is tough, especially for gamers.
Yeah.
So
Boy.
let's do our best. Raymond, you got one? What's your number 3?
My number 3 would have to start at I'd start it at Rainbow Six Siege. Like,
Okay.
comes from the Tom Clancy stuff.
I played the very first one on PC.
I remember that. That's a good one. I played it on PS3 because I was like down bad and I only had my PS3 and I was just like, man, I'm gonna try it. I don't even care.
Now, how much different is like the newest generation of Rainbow Six compared to the old school one?
The old school one was completely Call of Duty based. I was just like,
Well,
what is this? Like,
The original one was like, no, you have your team and you have to plan out like an actual plan to go, with like. To clear a building or whatever. Like, all right, these guys are going to run down the hall and they're going to go clear this room. And they're going to throw a flashbang in this room and run there.
Right,
and
yeah.
you have to make the path for the guys. Is it still like that?
in Rainbow, it's completely like exactly like that, but it's not more about clearing rooms. It's about who you can hear and how fast you can call it out.
Okay.
It's instant directions to make a whole game up. So like for example, there's already like who you're gonna pick on what map you're gonna pick against what team you think they're gonna pick,
Right.
and what room they're gonna pick first.
Okay.
Because they have 4 rooms and you have 4 places to spawn. And if you mess up, you can spawn in a place where they can see you from their place to your spawn and kill you. So you have to think about like, what room are they gonna use? And at the beginning, they can really give out everything. Like if we were talking about house and they spawn garage, they would be reinforcing the doors. So you take your drone up to the doors and you'd be like, okay, they're garage, let's go APC and go upstairs. So from upstairs, we rush all the way down and clear the rooms from all the way upstairs to downstairs. Easily.
So it's
like,
basically about trying to stay 2 steps ahead of the
Exactly.
the opponent.
And
It's like cops and robbers, like SWAT versus like infiltrators. type
literally. And if they have a character I like to play a lot, because I'm a little sneaky man, I like to play Caveira. She's like a Brazilian operator, and she
showed up in one of the Ghost Recon games.
Yeah. Caveira and Twitch showed up.
Yes,
and that was pretty cool. I was like, good addition. But Caveira runs around like a dog. I'm like,
so. So you chose that game? Why? Because of the strategy
I chose that
of
game because I've been playing since beta, and my mind hasn't changed about the game at all. It's still like the same. There's no meta. There's no absolute character that's gonna win every time. Every time that a character has a busted hitbox, it gets patched immediately, and Ubisoft is like, "We got you. Like, this is it. It's fixed. Go play the game. Tell us about ranked." They'd give us test servers on PS4 to be like, "Okay, test it out. Give us a little feedback." And I was like, hey, man, if I can have such a balanced game where I'm still having fun and still having fun competitively at the same time, let's do it. I like it.
It is like high-speed 4D chess.
Jesus.
I could never get into that game because it's so like, there's so many decisions you have to make in a split second in that game that it absolutely just, like, I get in and I'm like, I can't.
I'm overloaded.
I can't even touch it.
Yeah.
Can't even touch it. Like, how am I supposed to know what windows they reinforced, where they are, how they, and then like people will like peek at you and pop, you're dead just in a second. I'm like, I can't play anything like that. It's
but
crazy.
that's always the problem with playing online. People are just so much better.
No,
but imagine being on his level, like being able to like, man, I couldn't imagine how high stakes that is. That's
still
fantastic.
frustrated. PC had the little movements with Q and E where they would just lean without pressing the aim button. I was just like, advantage, like whatever. But I didn't play with them, so I didn't care.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
This game sucks, man. All right, what's your number 3?
Metal Gear Solid 5, as broken as it is.
Metal Gear Solid 5. Now, full disclosure, I've never played any of the Metal Gear series.
Beautiful series. It's great. I'm not even going to say too much. It's just, it's a lot. I couldn't even begin to describe. It's like one of those overly complex plot lines that spans over, like, more than 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I'm going to say it right now, like, my entire top 3 revolves around Metal Gear, all games of that series. And like, since you haven't played it, and like, I'm not so sure if every viewer's played it, it's a story game, so I don't want to give too many spoilers, but it's like a total war game.
Okay.
It's tactical espionage action, so you're sneaking around. The goal is to not get seen as much as possible. It's the game that started the whole stealth mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single game that you see nowadays with guns and stealth. Splinter Cell, remember that?
Splinter Cell.
Yeah, that
Siphon
was
Filter, one of them also.
Siphon Filter. So these are games that were inspired by Metal Gear, that whole sneaking aspect and everything. But like, great mechanics, great story, great gameplay all around. Like fantastic games.
Okay. Now I'm gonna throw one out of left field here for my number 3. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this game. It was for PlayStation 1. It was called The Legend of Dragoon.
Wow.
So it was a 4-disc RPG. And
Buddy.
it was like basically like a turn-based RPG, but instead of just like, all right, I want this attack, press that button. It was actually like the way it worked, the mechanics of it were it would show like a small square on your screen and it would show your character running out to do the attack, and then there would be a bigger square that would kind of spin and slowly get smaller, and once it lined up with the smaller square, you would have to time it and hit the button, hit X, and it would do it, and it would be like 5 or 6 in a row depending on how complicated the attack was. And that was how the mechanics of it worked. Plus there was like a really cool story. It was kind of like made its own universe where you were these warriors called dragoons, and it was weird, but it was so much fun. And I remember it was so long, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I was so mad they never made a sequel. They never did anything with it. Never made like a TV show.
No, man, I know that was a good series. Like, I never actually played it myself back in the day, but like I've seen some gameplay of it on whatchamacallit. I know it gets like really complex with the mechanics, even more so than they even tell you in the game. Like there's like button combos, like kind of like fighting games.
No, nothing like that. It was literally like you have one button. Oh, and then sometimes like if the opponent would counter, you would have to press a different button when it lined up.
Yeah.
So it would kind of do that like at the last second. You're like, oh shit, and try not to mess it up.
They had something like that in some of the Final Fantasies where if you pressed the attack button at the same time as your character sliced the sword, it was like double damage. So you'd have to know what the attacks sounded like. So it'd be like, tsh, 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 and you have to press the button exactly on every press. It was a good time.
This one came out after Final Fantasy VII. So I had seen people play that, but I had never played it myself. And I'm like, oh, is this what they all are? And then I tried a regular RPG. I'm like, no, this is its own thing.
Yeah.
And that was why I liked it so much.
Man, I have a friend who really loves that game. Like played it growing up.
Yeah, that was great. But I don't know a lot of people that were really into it.
Right.
Final Fantasy 3 is a good game.
3?
Is it your number 2? Is it your...
Dude, no. But it's it was like really pixelated RPG.
Yeah, back in the day.
Bro, it's like I don't even know. Something about that game is just like run through it, kill everything you see, and the story behind it's just like, why does it have a Destiny 2 type story on an 8-bit game?
Oh, you'd
Why
be
does it look like
surprised,
this?
man.
I'm just
You'd
like,
be
this makes
surprised.
no sense to me. I see the whole place. It's in my brain right now. I see it.
All right. Raymond, what's your number 2? Now, this is of all time, your whole life. You know, it could be Super Mario Brothers 2 if you want it. It doesn't matter. What is your top? What's your number 2 of all time?
Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. First
Okay.
one.
Oh.
I never really played the Call of Duty. I'm not big on shooters. Aside from Halo, I couldn't really do it.
That was the first game I hit my first no scope on. I still remember it to this day. Clear as day. I was sitting there with PS3 controller in my hand. There was a smoke
Hang
out
on.
in front of me.
For anybody that's not familiar with gaming, explain to them what no scope means.
So you take the sniper you have and you completely forget about using the sniper and you just press the shoot button. And if you kill somebody, well, good job.
You
got it.
basically you don't look down the scope.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
simple as
You
that.
gotta like think about where and why.
Yeah.
So I hit that, and then that just started a notion of wanting to get better at the game. Like every day, I was just like, all right, there's something to get better about this game, and always was that, and that transferred into every single other Call of Duty.
Yeah, that game like moved from regular just a shooting game online to people really showing out. Like we're talking
that created
like,
a community.
Yeah, like people doing some really fancy,
I used to-
unnecessary tricks.
Used to hop on his account because he's the only one who had the P90,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't gonna sit there for hours and
P90.
unlock it. A P90, it's like a submachine gun where you.
Oh,
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
weapon in the game.
Yeah, you could take
I'm like,
the
what,
clip
like
out.
P90X? like the workout videos?
Nah, but that gun was completely overpowered,
Yeah,
and
back
that's
in the
where I
day.
got my my little thing for sniping. I don't know
Mhm.
where I got my pistols from, but my sniping was like for sure embedded in that game, and like the only reason I can look down sights and play Battlefield and be like, all right, 400, 300, bow, he's dead.
I could never
Okay.
snipe on a controller. Only mouse and keyboard.
Don't even get me started. All right, what's your number 2?
Oh man. So Metal Gear Solid 2, again part of the series. But if you want to switch it up, I would like to. You reminded me that one of my favorite games of all time is Final Fantasy 9. It's a game that I didn't actually.
You throw that in as an honorable mention?
And an honorable mention, yeah, because I'm not, I could go into Metal Gear Solid
Yeah.
2, but I'd have to go into 1 and all that other stuff. So, Final Fantasy 9 was a game that like I saw in my childhood but never played, and played in my adulthood later on. That it was so good, it gave me nostalgia as a game I'd never even played as a kid. It's an amazing story, great graphics for PS1. Even nowadays, you boot it up and you're like, wow, that's fantastic, and active time battle, which is like the same as like any other regular Final Fantasy attack, defend, or whatever. But the enemy, it's like based on a bar that
Mhm.
goes up. When that bar is full, is your turn to attack. But the enemy also has their own bar that goes up. So it's
Oh.
active time. If you like are sitting there eating popcorn, the enemy's not going to wait for you to finish. It's going to attack every single time that bar is full. So you got to be ready to like move your team and exactly when those bars are filling up in coordination. So you got to like
That's
have
pretty cool.
a plan and tell who to defend and attack. Fantastic game. Besides that, the story is amazing.
Okay, so you want to make Metal Gear Solid 2 the honorable mention then?
Now, Metal Gear Solid 2 honorable mention.
Okay. All right, so my number 2 is now this is disclaimer. I am not a fan of first-person shooting games. I don't like them. It's just not my cup of tea. It annoys me. But my number 2 is a first-person shooter. It's Halo Reach.
Halo Reach.
Now I could say Halo 1 or Halo 2 because all the times me and my friends played it, at somebody's house up all night drinking beer.
Right.
When Halo 2 came out, that was the first time I ever waited in line for like the midnight release. Like me and my friend George, we waited in line for the midnight release. We got it. We skipped class the next day. We were in community college. A lot of good that did, and we just played all day. We did co-op the whole campaign mode all the way through. And then we went home each, and then we just like crashed because we were up from the night before.
Dude.
But Halo Reach is actually my choice, and only because with that game, that was the first game I ever played online. Plus, I'm a sucker for like the customizable character. So when you could put together the armor for your Spartan and everything like that. That to me,
mama.
like, I'm expressing myself through my Spartan. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the asshole that makes you listen to a song. Listen to the words, listen to the words.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game, because the story was great. The cutscenes were amazing. Like, you could change your armor and it shows up in the cutscene, which I thought was the coolest thing. Because no other games really did that, and still they don't all do that.
Yeah, I can.
The voice acting was
The only
great.
game I can think of is like San Andreas, but it was like one character. You didn't really actually get to customize the character, but his clothes and his appearance and his weight and size and all that other stuff. Yeah. But
Yeah, so I would have to say Halo Reach, even though I don't like first-person shooters, just because that game was to me, it was in a league of its own.
Dude,
Halo 4 just was not as good. Halo 3 was good for what it was, but when Halo Reach came out, that blew it all out of the water.
You know why? Because when Bungie was on Halo,
Yes.
Bungie was just
You said it.
slapping and snapping, boy. They really, I don't know how they do it, but they really know how to. That's the same developers as the people who.
What happened with Destiny?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yikes.
But-
Activision. I can't.
But
even
yeah,
think
no,
about that.
Bungie really had it going on back then. I mean, they really worked on inspiration. That game,
Yeah.
those games were really good.
All right, so here we go. We're at number 1. If you have any honorable mentions, anything that didn't quite make the list but still high in your count, you could throw it out now.
I like to say Apex.
Apex Legends.
Yeah, for sure.
That's your number 1, or that's an honorable mention?
That's an honorable mention
Okay.
because I have to give the game some props for being so good and so balanced for so long. Like without any like absolutely everything was fixed the moment it was broken. Oh, this gun has a 5-round burst and you can kill anybody. And on YouTube you can kill anybody. And then like 2 days later the game's like, shut up, it's back to normal.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, what do you mean? So there's this single fire on the Hemlock. And it was completely overpowered. You could tap somebody from across the map. It'd be easy. They took it out. They reduced the fire rate. And they were like, okay, work with it. And so you work with it. And the game's good. None of the characters are overpowered. Every single thing that the character comes out with always works into the game. Like, it always works into the normal characters that are already in.
As Thanos once said, perfectly balanced.
As all things should be.
But yeah, man, that has to be like
All right.
one of the best balanced online competitive shooters I've ever played.
Anything else you want to add to honorable mentions before we get to the big cheese here?
Shout out to Crazy Taxi for teaching me how to be absolutely abnormal while driving.
Can't be mad at that.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I don't want to share the road with you now, but I mean, it's not a bad game.
a little bit of RL, go forward, RL, jump the car, something like that. Yeah.
All right, so what's the number 1? Hit us. I can't speak.
Rocket League.
Ooh,
Really?
Yeah, I have
yes,
to.
That's
boy.
your number 1.
I have to because
Yeah.
it's like everything about the game, the community around it. Everybody's like, it's so good. You can't complain about it. See, you can say Overwatch, but go ahead, try to play some Overwatch online in gold and try to get out of gold for a little bit. You
Yeah.
won't. You'll literally get so stressed. You'll be like, all
I
right.
don't even know what that means.
It means that Overwatch's meta is like balanced around professional players only, and it doesn't really focus on anybody trying to get from like silver to gold or gold to platinum.
Exactly.
And like it's cruel because in that game you actually do have to rely on 6 other people and what other characters they choose. If if even one of them isn't doing their job, everybody fails. So it's not, you can't carry yourself.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Now they put the 2-2-2 system, which is basically to play a little more competitively and to play on the scale and be balanced. And it's like 2 healer, 2 attack, 2 tanks.
Yeah, but that
Doesn't
still,
work. It
that
doesn't
still
work.
doesn't work.
People are still like so toxic. The game's unplayable.
Yeah.
It's
But
like,
Rocket League.
you're not doing your job. No, I'm playing the character I'm supposed to be playing, man. Leave me alone.
I want to talk about exactly that in a little bit. But,
Yeah.
So Rocket League, it's your number 1. I would think because it's such a simple concept, it's just
Yeah, you
soccer with cars. Like,
Simple
can't,
concept,
You can't
but-
balance that.
But
You
the
can't
game
patch it.
is so like mechanically gifted.
Yeah.
Everything about it. I don't know why, but whenever I manage to chain my car in different directions and then jump off it and score a goal, I'm just like, all right, I'm better than everybody who plays this game. Doesn't matter. What are you gonna do about it? Challenge me. Do it.
for everybody out there, Raymond wants all the smoke.
Let's get it.
All right. So Rocket League. All right. I was not expecting that, but okay. Let's Tico. What do you got?
Honorable mention number 1, Killer Instinct, for
Okay.
following me from childhood, from my father to me, and now to Raymond finally doing the ultra combo the other day for the first time.
He sucks.
Was just an absolute moment of pride for me. I love that game, and I love fighting games and everything they have to offer and bring. But another honorable mention, Rocket League, for being perfectly balanced and absolutely beautiful in every single way. It's just physics, a car, and a ball. What can you do with that? That's as good as it gets.
Can you imagine midway into the season, they just turn up all the graphics to like 60 frames and you open up the game for the first time again, you're just like, oh, it looks like that now? Wow, dude.
Yeah. So, and then my absolute number one of all time, and I am going to go into this because I have to. It's my favorite. Metal Gear Solid 3.
Okay.
That is, like, by all means, the best game ever. Not only was it the best game ever, but it was the first Metal Gear to ever have Metal Gear Online as well. So that was my first, like, game. I plugged in my PS2 to the internet for the first time ever there. Like, before that, it was the Sega Dreamcast with Phantasy Star Online, but that's something else. So we were talking about, like, competitive online. Insanity. That game was amazing. Everything about the story, it's like totally anti-war. It's his like struggle with his mentor and all that other stuff. An amazing game. Like, I love that. And like my first time playing online, that was the first game I ever made it to the leaderboards in.
Okay.
For any amount of time. Like, I was actually there. I was up there. I have great memories. I still play it to this day. So yeah, man, this is one of the best.
That's my rainbow right there.
Yeah.
So I get a couple honorable mentions.
Sure.
First one is actually a pretty new game, Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh.
I put it up there only for me, I don't know, I'm a big fan of Japanese culture, and I've read about it as a kid, as a teenager, and I always said, why don't they make a cool samurai game? Like, they made some stuff. They made, like, what was the one? It was I can't remember. It was a fighting game where it was like kind of like samurai style with the swords. It was a Japanese name.
It's by the developers that made Dead or Alive. It's
I think so.
Ninja Gaiden.
No.
Oh, okay, no.
Either way, I'm not
Samurai.
You're right. I'm gonna have to
thinking
think of it
about-
later.
I was thinking
I'm
about
gonna put it
Hayabusa.
like right under this, so when
was
you're
thinking of
watching, I'm
Ninja
gonna put it
Gaiden
on the
for some
screen.
reason.
I was like Hayabusa for sure.
Hayabusa, my boy.
No,
Anyway.
this was like a fighting game, but it was like a Anyway, like there was never a cool samurai game, and then Ghost of Tsushima came out, and I got it for my Batika got it for me.
Oh.
And I was just like, yo, like this is exactly the game that I've always wanted.
I've heard that like there's not that much UI in the game. Like, there's not stuff all over the screen. It's just
No.
Oh yeah, the on-screen stuff very, very minimal.
yeah.
Like it only comes up when you press the button to kind of switch like a style or switch weapons or something. But it's really cool. I finished it, so I'm gonna let Raymond borrow it so
Ooh.
you guys can check it out.
Fancy.
Another honorable.
He's not playing.
Another honorable mention, Wrestlemania 2000 for Nintendo 64.
Wow.
Yo, taking it back.
Taking it back only because that game, the creator character was so deep. You could change everything about the guy. Even like this the way he walks to the ring, like simple style, like every move. Like the guy has so many moves, and you could individually change every single thing. Like we sat there for hours. Me and my best friend Drew. It was New Year's Eve 2000.
Right.
We didn't even watch the ball drop. We just sat there for hours just making characters.
Boy.
Like that to me was so much fun.
I had one of those.
That actually sounds really good, yeah.
Nah, I was with my friend. I had a PS3 in Hialeah, and I took it to his house, and he threw some like wrestling game into my stuff, and I was just like, I don't play this. What are you doing? I don't even. How does the game even work? He's just like, start messing with it, and I was like, okay, whatever. Made my own music, made my own intro. My character was booling. I was just like, yo, that's me right there. I made that character. You listen to music, yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm here now.
Right,
I didn't
isn't
know how
that
to play
cool
the
as
game
shit?
though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice, yeah.
That
Nice
being said,
character.
I also kind of maybe should throw Def Jam Fight for New York in there.
Def Jam, hello. That was one of the best fighting games, dude.
Yeah, that
was
really
great.
was.
That was really good, yo.
But I played that alone. So I like WrestleMania. I played with other people. So it's near and dear to my heart. But now my number one. This is kind of a cop out, but just bear with me. I'm gonna say Pokemon, but I'm gonna say this series as a whole.
Oh, okay, I feel you.
Now here's the thing, because I know that's not just one game.
Hey, you could have told me that was an answer, and I was talking about Metal Gear.
I know I didn't want to just say that. I would have to say in terms of like how it impacted me, the original Blue, since that was the one I had for Game Boy, just because that was the first one I ever played.
Damn, you started with Blue?
I started from the beginning with
I
the
started
old
with,
school, like the fat Game Boy.
I started with Crystal. I really loved that game.
Red.
No, actually Gold, then Crystal. Sorry.
Okay.
Gold.
But like now, like having gone through the generations of the series are all the way up to Gen 8, and they have like over 800 Pokemon now. Like, it's
can't
crazy.
even keep up. Yeah, it's crazy.
And like the way it's evolved in the gameplay, like the stats and the matchups, and knowing how to build a team and how to train them, essentially, it's so deep. And now, shout out to the Three Ninjas, because they started doing a thing last year, or actually it was even going into 2019 when Sword and Shield came out, where they would just challenge listeners. And like, I started taking it real seriously, because before I played it, I didn't know what an EV or an IV was. I'm like, oh, this guy looks cool, I want him on my team.
Right.
But now, like, oh no, you're stepping into the big boys league. Like, now I started playing online with people, and I started reading about it, and like, oh no, like, I was barely dipping my toes in the water before.
Yeah, that's how it always feels when you transfer from like normal to online. You're like, dude, what how much wasn't I aware of playing this game?
Oh my god! And now, like, I mean, now I've since wiped the floor with them. I'm sorry, but it's true. Yeah, I kind of really now I appreciate how deep the game actually goes.
Yeah.
And I think, like, for Nintendo specifically, that's a thing. Like, everything looks kind of like kid friendly and like family friendly on the surface, and then some of these games, when you get into it, it's like, oh no, this shit goes deep. Like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Like, it looks. I never played
Breath
Zelda
of the Wild,
games,
dog.
and then I played Breath of the Wild, and I was like, oh shit, like, this game is in depth. Like, there's a lot to this.
No, there's stuff that we don't even know. I've seen people do some stuff like, flying machines. Like, you can pick up a thing with another thing. Like, you have mine carts. You put a mine cart under a mine cart, and you can use that to fly across the things that people have discovered in that game. Absolutely destroys my mind. Like, the way they even play, the way they played when it first came out to the way they play now is completely insanity. Like, it doesn't even look anything the same.
I still didn't even. I feel like I didn't even scratch the surface of that game, even though I played for.
No, same.
Yeah.
A long time.
I
don't even want to put
hours.
a numerical value on the amount of hours I played that game, but like it's so deep. But anyway, so I would have to, if I had to be gun to my head, I would say Pokemon, the original Blue.
Yeah.
But the whole series for me was something that I've loved for over 2 decades now.
Dang. Pokemon was one of those games that I really wanted to follow, like, really bad, but like, I didn't have the DS, so I feel like I skipped way too much of the good stuff. Because, like, the DS, the 3DS, and all those other games and all those consoles that came out, and, like, I really wanted. But, like, I didn't get to follow. So I was stuck on PlayStation.
I got lucky. Because I played the first one, and I just kind of rolled with that for a long time. And I didn't get Gold and Silver on Game Boy or Game Boy Color. It wasn't until years later I ended up getting the emulator on my phone for the Game Boy, and then I started playing all the ones I never got to.
Yeah.
And went through, was like, oh, this thing is still dope. Like, I like this.
Yeah.
So now we were talking about online gaming, and I wanted to come back to this because you were talking about like a gaming community maybe around a certain game or just in general can get toxic.
Oh, absolutely.
Very.
Like, and I know people hear about this kind of in passing. If you're not a gamer, these people, gamers
You're mad
online,
about the game. Why are you mad about it? It's a game.
They end up going and like trolling people, and they're all using racist slurs just to get under people's skin. Like, how bad do you see it? Because like, I'm removed now. I'm out of the loop.
I'm terrible. It's terrible. You can't play the game.
You said I'm terrible. What are you gonna tell us? He's about to tell on himself here. About to do a Freddie Gibbs here.
No, I am pretty terrible. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'm terrible in response because there's no way, dude. I can't even be mad at somebody for just playing the game and being better than me anymore. I literally get angry because they get mad at me for being better than them, and then they say something, and I'm like, all right, really?
Yeah.
That far? Did we have to take it? Like, I literally posted on my Snapchat the other day. I'm like, yeah, like, does racism have to be like the absolute structural value of talking shit on a game?
Well, you know what I think it is? I think it's a lot of times these young guys, they know that's about as bad as you can make something.
Yeah,
no consequences.
So they just automatically go for the nuclear option.
Exactly.
which is it's funny, and this is going to sound weird saying it, so bear with me. I don't necessarily think that all the people that are doing that are actual, like, in real life, like, racist people.
Yeah, no. They just
I think they're literally just trying to talk the worst possible shit that they can, and they know that's some of the worst stuff you can say.
Absolutely.
It's crazy to say because I'm not trying to excuse it, but you know what I mean?
Right? Yeah. I know what you mean.
Like, it's like, what can I say that's gonna hurt you the most? Like, this is all I got, so let's make it hurt. You know?
I agree. Like, I avoid chatting and online games as much as I can. I seriously just play for my own enjoyment most of the time. And that's one of the things I love about like Rocket League, for example, because you can say it with your gameplay. You don't necessarily have to say it by saying it. There's a lot of games that require communication with the team. Like, oh, there's somebody on the left door. I don't play those games for a very specific reason. Like, and there was a whole time I tried to talk, like in Overwatch or whatever, but you couldn't even get started. It is prevalent. It's really bad. And Call of Duty right now.
Don't even. I was playing last night, and you can run into characters. Like, you're just like, you'll sit in there one moment, and they're talking about a topic, and you'll jump in, and you'll just be like, nah, but this is that. It's like, who the fuck was talking to you? I'm just like, never mind. I'll play the game. Cool. I'm gonna turn off my mic, dude.
I'll see myself out. Thank you very much.
Right.
Just leave the lobby.
I played Fortnite for like 2 weeks on the Switch, and my I wanted to see what all the fuss was about, and my username is I always pick the same thing. I always pick Orokusaki,
right?
The Shredder. So I went on and I had I could hear like the people talking. I didn't have a mic in, so I could hear them, but they couldn't hear me. And literally the first online game I played, like, oh, look, all these fucking Japanese kids playing on the Nintendo Switch. I'm like,
God.
I'm not even Japanese. Like, it's like right off the bat they started with it.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I hop into games, and my tag triggers a lot of people because he was the one that kind of got my tag. I don't know how I transferred over through so many saved data files, but I have an EST 2015 tag. That's when the game came out.
Oh, established 2015 on Rocket League. Yeah.
So, dude, I hop in. They're just like, EST 2015, my ass. Show me. Do some EST 2015 stuff. You won't. So, I win the game. I win by 2 points. I demo, and then I talk shit. And then I'm just like, all right, what else do you want? So, I 1v1 them, publicly expose them to them and their friends. And then I'm just like, what else do you want?
Yeah, you can.
Like, what am I supposed to do?
The thing about Rocket League is that you'll be playing in a team with somebody, and for some reason, most of the time, your teammate is the one that's got the biggest problem with you.
People have the shortest tempers.
Absolutely.
You will be, okay, let's call this the entire playing field really quick. You have to go, he goes mid, you go left, and so he hits the ball goes left, so he's supposed to, like, go to right middle and go straight to get the pass from me to get the shot. So he moves the wrong way, and let's say he rotates all the way back, goes into goal, and stays there while you're doing everything in your power to score, and you're like, dude, you could have, like, stayed middle, like, giving them a tip or something. I was like, shut up, kid. I was literally defending, and I don't know why you're coming at me when you can't even hit the shot you were trying to hit. I'm like,
hey, bro, why are you defending? We're on offense. We got the ball.
Like, dude, I was trying to pass this to you, and they're just like, you still suck. You didn't hit the shot. I'm like, okay, well, you know what, dog? Have a good rest of the game. I don't need the rank because I'm better than you. I just turn off the game and I go play something else because it's like.
So now, all right, let's look down the road here. Is this just what it is? Is there any way that this might change, or is that just
no?
Everybody.
I think
this is just
one
like
of those
be aware of
that,
what you're getting into.
Yeah, because it's like not necessarily that. I don't think toxicity is ever gonna leave games online specifically.
It's pure competition. So
the only way I think that you could remove toxicity is a bad answer. Like, you remove anonymity and you remove toxicity. Obviously, people are gonna have consequences for their action. If they know who you are when you're playing a game, then you wouldn't say so much stuff. But that's the thing. That's also wrong. I don't want people to know who I am when I'm playing a game. You know what I mean? I want to talk my shit too. Every once in a while. I want to tell somebody they suck. But I don't know. I'm
all about it. Like, everything. I'm like, listen. You're gonna
just
text
bring me all the smoke. Let's talk all the shit.
You're gonna text me. You're gonna text me. Oh, you know where I live? Come, let's do it. You know where I live, and so you're so heated and mad about the fact that I absolutely.
You should say this. You know where I live? Good. Come here. We'll play split screen. That way I can look at your face when I beat you like a little bitch.
Exactly.
But I'm of the mind where I kind of feel like
doxing and IPs.
Well, that's the thing. As long as we're not getting into doxing and that kind of thing, and you're really, this is having real world implications.
Right.
Like, if it's just online shit talking, I'm kind of the mind just like, just let it be what it is.
Right.
And
I was gonna say,
be warned before you get into it. This could get crazy.
Yeah.
But as long as it stays only on that, I'm kind of just like, all right, just let it be the Wild West on there. As long as you keep it on there.
I like it when people start talking shit about the game. You know what I mean? Like, you're ass with this character, or oh, you suck at this particular thing. You know what I mean?
You're using Wolf. You're never gonna beat me, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I appreciate it. I mean, like, for fighting games specifically, toxicity is part of mind play. You know, every single thing that you do in a fighting game counts. Like, when you say, like, oh, you weren't blocking low, something like that, or you suck, you can't catch this, my mix-up is too much for you. You're in their mind. That's part of the game. That actually is, like, one of those things. There's 3 aspects. There's the gameplay, the body language, and, like, the mind reading, more or less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little close to home.
Yeah.
You gotta get in their head. You gotta get them on tilt
You
a
have to
little
get
bit.
in their head, and that's actually part of gaming. But that's the thing. If you want a good time, play split screen.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to not, go too crazy with the shit talking, play split screen. If you are okay with, like, that kind of aspect, as long as people are anonymous, play online. You know what I mean? All you want. I mean, everybody has the option to mute themselves and the people they're playing against.
That's true.
That's always.
You don't
that,
have to
you know
take
what I mean?
part.
Right.
And
you
if,
don't.
if
It could reduce the quality of the game for you.
That's
though.
true. Well, listen,
I love that.
if you want to play online that much, but you don't like the toxicity, just try to find people that you already know. Like, try to play with people, see who's nice, and say, hey, I'd rather, you want to play again on my team or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
build your own little circle.
Right.
Yeah. Solid answer.
Yeah.
No, I've Rainbow specifically. People just get mad, like, for you being better than them.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah,
any angle you have is broken. Anything that you've used. I've literally been playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare, modern day, and I'm like, okay, this dude's been camping in this corner 4 times. I'm tired of this guy. I know where he is, and the game was about to end.
Mm-hmm.
So I hit a little clip. I hit a little 5-man, and I killed him at the end. And so he's calling me a hacker the whole time. I'm just like, oh, dude, I'm flattered, man. Thanks. I'm going to go play the rest of my day calling myself a hacker because I'm that good at the game. Jeez.
Yeah.
I just found that there's something called the Scrub Lord's Prayer. It says, like, for people who lose and get angry at the winner, my controls weren't working, and if they were, you were playing dishonorably. And if you weren't, you were playing without skill. And if you were, it's not fun to play that way. And if it is, you only care about winning, which is always the ultimate thing. It's like, oh, you're just playing to win? Why are you getting so sweaty type thing? That's just, that means you got in their mind, and be proud of yourself. Like, if you get somebody to get mad at you when you won, I say, job well done. That's the reason I play Rocket League,
It's
to
so good.
see the salt.
You could spread that across a bagel. It's so good. It's so
Oh, it
delicious.
tastes
I like
delicious.
I like to like wrap the whole bagel in it. It's like sometimes I'm just like,
No, Raymond will, like, hop in. Like, he will, like,
Well, you're a different breed now because
Yeah.
you're like born into this.
he was, yeah,
Like,
right?
it's
Could you
different.
imagine?
It's different than you and I. Like,
Yeah.
even like I started playing a little earlier than you, but it's different. Like the way he plays, like we didn't have competitive gaming in the sense that exists now.
Yeah, but
literally-
remember that feeling when you beat your friends so hard that they just got up and left?
Oh, dude, WCW versus NWO on Nintendo 64. It came out before. It was like 2 versions before WrestleMania 2000.
Yeah.
I found a character where they couldn't beat me anymore. And it was like they had like fake characters in the game instead of the whole WCW roster. It was a fake character named Hannibal, and he wore like a luchador mask, and they just couldn't beat me with him. Like I just got too good with it. Like I found it.
That's it. You've hit peak.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for in all the games I play. But unfortunately, online has the type of grind that I, as an adult, can't follow anymore. Like, it's not even possible, because it's like I said again, but like before, it's a different grind. It's like a personal grind. It's like instead of grinding to get the best weapons and things in the game, you're grinding to make yourself better by playing every day.
there's no off days.
There's no off days.
There's
yeah.
like Rocket League more specifically shows you that in a wide scale. They're just like, you're rusty and you're gonna get better, or else you're just not gonna be good at the game anymore.
It sounds crazy to say that about a video game, but I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you're actually playing competitively, which I know a lot of people out there think that that's crazy, but you can actually have a career off that. You know,
No,
you can
yeah,
make
you
money
absolutely
from
can.
it.
Rainbow.
Like, why if you're a boxer,
Right.
if you're out fucking around, you should be in the gym.
Right.
Like I mean, in practice, this is the same thing.
I'm sure there's some people in the world that like box for fun. I'm sure there's.
I did it
people
for
in the-
fun, but I was never going to compete.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's some people you can either play for fun in video games nowadays, or you can play to actually be competitive, to try to compete. Like me with Smash Brothers. I love Smash Brothers so much. I will show up to a tournament. I enjoy it. I legitimately enjoy playing that. He does too.
Something about
I've seen him play. Like, it's,
Yeah. There's something about like that face to face that like that's the best. It really is. So right now we're trying to grind up our Tekken so we can go to Tekken tournaments as much as possible.
No, I don't want to go. I made my mind up. I'd literally throw my controller at somebody. Like I can't deal with that level, man.
Well, I for whatever reason, Facebook keeps recommending me videos of Tekken and God of War.
Ooh.
Neither of which I've played. Like, I've played a little Tekken, but like
Right.
I don't know why. But I keep seeing like the tournaments for Tekken. Like, Jesus Christ, these
Yeah,
people,
but have you seen those tournaments?
they're on another. It's another level.
It's another level. But like I love the people who play Tekken. Their tournaments hit different because these are people about your age and my age. You know what I mean? These are like people who've been playing. You, in order to even get to a tournament, you have to have played this game for years.
Yeah.
Like, to learn one character, if you're really gonna sit there from scratch, you'd be there for I don't even know how long, just in button combos, mix-ups, and the different varieties you can do with that kind of stuff. But I love the people who play. I love the commentators. I love, like, that whole game as a sport is amazing. Like, it really is one of the most calm, well-established, long-time games that I've ever seen.
That's my favorite type of competitive game.
Yeah.
If I can, for example, Rainbow, I can learn this game so much. A new operator comes out, I'll just watch a video on it. But the main basis is about it being easy to navigate yourself around, especially if you're good at the game. So I'll go cav, right? And I'll go downstairs and I'll chill there, and then I'll just be like, okay, so what do I have to wait for, you know? Forgot about the topic. What were we
we were
just saying?
talking about like
Tekken
long-time,
tournaments.
well-established like.
Oh yeah,
tournament
no, a
gameplay.
calm way to play the game. I'd be downstairs chilling, my gun in the corner, and they'll be like, okay, 2 coming mid window, and I'm just like, ooh, 2 interrogations for me. Your whole team's gonna get caught. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, like it's funny because if you consider people playing these games online, talking shit, like, but then when you look at the tournaments and you see these people play, they're stone.
Organizations.
Yeah,
I love
Yeah,
that.
like they just they don't flinch, they don't move, they don't say anything.
But actually, no, that's where Tekken like hits different because the people who are playing are like, for example, there's this one absolute favorite player of mine called Lil Majin that his signature is like the same as The Rock back in the wrestling days, or he'll just like
just a little closer to your mouth.
he'll win a tournament, for example, and he'll just look at the camera with the eyebrow. That is honestly, even the commentators are excited to see him win because they know the eyebrow's coming because he's gonna get up afterwards and make a whole show about it. It's fantastic, man.
All right, so one of the last things. This will be the last question that I give you guys. I was reading the book Ready Player 2. It's a sequel to Ready Player 1.
Sure.
And it was an interesting concept in the book where they found a way basically to make the experience of playing games seamless in the sense where it's directly from, the game to your brain. Like it's like instead of just wearing a headset with like the headphones and gloves and stuff like that,
Right.
They made a device that actually sends signals into your brain waves, and it makes you feel as if you're.
Are you like asleep during this, or?
Yeah, you're essentially sleeping.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
I
all
see.
right.
I
mean,
it's
you're
Sword Art Online. Yeah.
Exactly. It's exactly like Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that. I'm thinking about
Oops.
like essentially the ethical implications of it, especially. I mean, I know you guys didn't read the book, but that's kind of where the whole story.
Let me put my
develops
2
out
cents
of.
in here. Forget ethical limitations. Just put me in that and don't wake me up. Like, just leave me alone for a hot minute.
Now, would you ever? You wouldn't hesitate?
No, you couldn't put me in an Elder Scrolls world with the ability to like be part of the lore and exist in the world and be able to like read the books, actually sit there and be a mage. No, couldn't get me out of it. I think that's dangerous. It's
But
hella dangerous.
It is dangerous. That's the thing. Imagine like people are worried about you have a smart home, like a hacker can hack into your house
Yeah, you bet
and
your
open
ass.
your doors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What if you're literally giving them access to your brain?
Basically.
You
Like
know?
if you had some kind of brain interface, yeah, absolutely.
I
I'm
would
not.
not like that to go public.
Yeah,
I would
no.
like that to be a very secluded.
But-
I need to have a certain amount of money for this type of thing.
But it sounds amazing, like the
Yeah,
experience of
for
it.
sure.
Like
Oh, yeah, no,
you're
absolutely.
in the game.
But I think it's so amazing that it's one of those things that you shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, we're struggling with the current interface that we have now. We're struggling to, like, make time for our lives and for video games in the current way that we have now, which is still pretty primitive. I mean, you look at a VR game and you can only play it for so long before you get like a headache or something like that. You know what I mean? But like, we're struggling with that now. Imagine if it was a brain interface, my dog. If you were just asleep playing video games, like
Well, that was part in the story. Like
Right.
there was a limit. It was a hard limit where you can't play past. I think it was like 12 hours or something like that. Or it would manually like turn.
eject you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it would fuck up your brain.
You know, somebody would like hack that or be like, "Oh, I got the version that doesn't have the boot at 12 hours."
Yeah, all that is part of the story, which is
Oh,
it's
well, there
crazy.
you go.
Like it was a really cool idea, a cool concept. It was, it still
Yeah.
ended up being like the story itself similar to the first one, but it was like just the idea, because we're not that far off
No.
from something like that. You know, I always hear about like Elon Musk.
Yeah,
is
I was gonna
working
say
on the
Elon Musk
Neuralink.
with the Neuralink. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's totally
Somebody has
realistic
to
to think
focus.
that in our lifetimes that could be a reality.
No, it's
Somebody has
terrifying,
to
but it's
focus.
true. I was looking forward to the Neuralink at first, but now I'm terrified.
I don't care. Hack into my brain. Give me some cheats. The real thing is that if I could sleep and not be exhausted by the time I woke up, and in all that time my brain was doing the normal stuff that it's doing, being awake at night and keeping my body nice and healthy.
But keep in mind, like with this thing, your body is asleep, but your mind is still active.
Exactly.
Your brain is still working. So when you
That's
eject
the normal.
from the game, you're still tired.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's not like a sleep. It's like you don't get the wash.
Because you have effectively with your brain is awake, like
Right.
you're conscious, but your body kind of shuts down for the time being. That's kind of how it works. So that way, when your
Oh.
brain normally you would get up and walk, your brain is sending signals to your legs to, walk,
Right,
step,
right.
But with this,
Oh, it's still doing that.
it's still doing that. Only it's kind of the device is intercepting that and putting that into the game.
That's
That sounds
terrifying.
nice. I don't know, dude. Something about the fact that I could run around in Rainbow as the operator I like and hit the same peaks and know that I have an advantage because of my age. What are you gonna do?
That's true.
One of the interesting, consider this, in the story they had problems where people would be playing the game and all that time your body is just stuck there.
Yeah.
Like people would come in and rob you, or they would basically hold you hostage. So that way when you get out, like now you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like, there's all kinds of implications to that. Like,
Yeah.
you would have to find a hiding spot essentially. So then like the rich would have these devices where it's like a subterranean, cavern, like to stay safe.
Yeah, you're right. All you got to do is find out when somebody's gaming and
Right?
just bust in their
Yeah,
house.
literally
It's easy
just-
as that.
Waltz right through their front door.
That's
Right.
wild.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let
well,
me
I
see
mean-
what he's doing on Xfinity today.
Right.
Oh.
Imagine you were talking shit to somebody in the game, and then they found out where you lived, and while you were plugged into the device, they just walked into your house and see you sitting there. You're out of commission. You're just sitting there like this, and they just start stomping on your balls. Oh, you want to talk shit now, huh? Because I missed that goal. Fuck you, kid. Consider that.
Yeah,
Those
that'd be
are
wild,
those are the
actually.
real world implications of something like that. Something that's that immersive that you lose yourself. What does that do to society? When people are, if you've seen the movie Ready Player One, right?
No.
I haven't seen it either.
We're watching it. We're watching it when we go in the house.
We're absolutely watching it.
We're watching it. I don't even want to continue this. I don't want to continue this conversation because you guys haven't seen the movie.
But I think, like on that, I think the implications of that would be absolutely like
The same thing. that's
terrifying.
happening.
No, we'd have to find a balance.
Imagine something that's better than reality.
Yeah,
'Cause that's
exactly.
essentially what it is. You go in, you could do anything, be anything.
I feel bad for certain people. I know I wouldn't fall under the construct, and I know that I'm human, and I'm on Earth, and what are you going to do, take me off it? No, it's my brain going into a neurological link, and I'm pretty sure I have enough common
Honestly,
sense
like
for
if
that.
somebody put me in the Elder Scrolls world and it was like real people, and
I would.
that's honestly one of my wishes from
Constantly.
from early childhood. I remember playing Morrowind and going, I want to live there.
Yeah.
I want to live there. If
You
I
get lost. And that's
Yeah.
just in like a regular...
I would spend
that's
hours.
A PlayStation.
Yeah, I would spend hours inside of the place reading the books, just reading the books.
Yeah,
like,
imagine
on the
being
history.
in it.
Only reason
No,
that I
that's
would
it.
play Destiny 2 at this time of day. Because
Could you imagine walking around with a Jolteon or a Pikachu or something like that?
Yeah, or like being in Destiny and just
Which
like
is-
running a real raid
Yeah.
with like all 6 of. Oh God,
Which
Yikes.
is
you
which is
couldn't do
weird.
that to me. I wouldn't want to wake up.
I would.
Did
No.
you guys ever consider the ethical complications of Pokemon? Like you're just dog fighting.
No,
We're all
absolutely.
just Michael Vick here. You know?
Right.
I don't agree with it in real life, but I do
Yeah.
like the game. But
I love the game, but
definitely-
it is kind of fucked up when you think about it.
yeah,
You're
absolutely.
just capturing a bunch of dogs and throwing them at each other.
Oh, all right. One more thing.
They do it because they love their masters. Dude, slow it down. Like, you feed this thing every day and you let it get its ass beat.
Yeah.
Like, every day. That can't be nice. Imagine if the Pokemon did that to you.
Right?
Are you dead?
All right, I gotta ask you guys
Pokédex.
this. This is the last thing before we get out. What the fuck is with Twitch? I try.
Dude, fuck
I don't-
Twitch.
Why? Why does anybody care about Twitch? Like,
Listen.
what does Twitch have to offer that is not on YouTube? I don't
Twitch,
understand why.
I can throw myself on this topic. I absolutely hate Twitch. Twitch is a bunch of sensitive bitches, bro.
But no, don't give
That's
don't
the
give me that
truth.
because of the people are assholes.
No,
but, I mean,
but
like
that's the
The
truth.
platform itself. Like,
yeah.
It's, dude, it's playing along. Twitch was the first one to have, back when it was Justin TV, like, they were the first people to have, like, you remember Let's Plays being a whole huge thing on YouTube. People
Mhm.
want to watch people react to stuff and watch people play video games and, like,
That part I understand. But
Yeah.
like, why is Twitch so popular?
because
the
you get to have
reason-
live input right then
Yeah.
and there.
Oh.
You get to tell them, hey, listen, in that cave that you just missed, there's so and so, or maybe you should go left instead of right. You know, that kind
There's
of
a
thing.
lot
You want to have
of-
input because, like, when you're playing a
Gotcha.
Let's Play, you almost like you feel like you're playing with that person, like you're sitting
Gotcha.
on the same couch as them, but you have no input.
You have a
Yeah.
weird RTS type to the game where they're telling you stuff and you can use that in your game of what you already know.
Yeah.
And so so for example, you're playing Dark Souls for the first time on stream and some
Yeah.
dude goes go watch this video really quick. You see a speed run, you learn like 14 new things. There's some dude in the comments and he's your mod telling you about this item that can help you do the thing that you want to do.
Okay.
And then that just, you
Yeah,
know, it can
it's-
go from
it's-
that to toxicity.
I agree. The first time I ever beat Dark Souls 3,
Mm-hmm.
I was on Twitch. I was streaming on Twitch, and I had like that was the first time I ever got like 50 something viewers, and they were like they were giving me input, and like they were be like, oh dude, you want to get so and so ending, you might want to go over here real quick, but they wouldn't spoil too much. They'd help me out with the game, and I loved it so much that I streamed for an entire 12 hours straight. Like I from beginning to end beat the game. Because I had those people next to me. It was like,
So
it was
it's-
motivational. It was
It's like
great.
the equivalent of having like your buddy on the couch next to you while
Yeah.
you're playing. It's like, oh, yo, go right, go right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
playing Apex with like 22 viewers, and they were all
Yeah.
just like, "Yes, sir."
It's
like,
a
what do you-
different feeling when you see somebody like, you know, you shoot somebody in a game and you're
Mhm.
like, boom, I just did a thing, I just did it. Nobody's there. You
Right.
know what I mean? But if you do it and you're on Twitch, you're like, I just did a thing, and they're live feeding back to you.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a different
I
feeling.
remember that would have been cool playing the Batman Arkham City. Like
Hell
when you were
yeah.
doing like the battles where there's like, 50 guys all around you and you can
Right.
chain together like a
Yeah,
100 move
yeah,
combo.
Jump from one to
It's
the
like,
other.
yes, son, yes, and there's just nobody there. It's like,
Nobody's there,
That would have
yeah.
been cool. Knock on the neighbor's door. You want to know what I just did? No, okay, I'll
I
leave.
saved
I'm
the
sorry.
replay. I got it right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's what's different. I really like that you can like share that with people at that very same moment. And on the viewer side, it's pretty dope. I mean, you got people you enjoyed watching on
Mhm.
YouTube now actually playing live, and you get to talk to them, and they get to. Sometimes they talk back, sometimes they don't talk back, depending on the streamer. But you know,
Yeah.
it's fun either way.
You can have
Okay.
some really dependable viewers. Like some dudes will not drop you.
Yeah, we'll
It
always
doesn't.
show up.
It doesn't make any sense. You'll just be like, bro, it's the middle of the day. What are you doing with your life? Why are you here? Why do you know I'm streaming? Like, what's the point of this?
I got my notifications turned on, son. I'm ready to watch you play. And like, so, like for me, I'm the same as like some other viewers on Twitch. I like creators that like interface with me. Like if
Mhm.
I'm like saying something on chat, I like to be acknowledged. Hey, come on, I'm only human. You know what I mean? But they're like, oh, you said so and so. All right, let me try that out. I love that. I love watching games. I grew up as a little brother. I love watching people play. So I love couch gaming as well as gaming.
Yeah, I gotta hand it to you guys. You did a good job selling it. That was if this was a pitch meeting, I would have bought your product right there. All right, so what do you say we get out of here?
Let's do it.
Do you want to plug anything? Do you have a YouTube channel, an Instagram, a Twitch stream, anything you want to they can find you at, or are you good?
I like had a Twitch stream, but I'm too old to be streaming nowadays, guys. If I'm ever on, I'm on. I think it's the Putinator.
The Putinator.
The Putinator. That's right.
And my YouTube channel. I might post like once a year, but
Yes, go watch his Rocket League.
Do you know what's the name of it?
It's my name, literally.
Oh,
It's
okay.
because
I'll put the link right here.
Yeah.
I hate explaining the name, and like, all right, really quick. You go to school, and you have a designated email for your school. I
Okay.
learned that here. They give you an email that has the school name on it. I'm like, okay, that's workable. But in Miami, they were like, okay, we need you to change your name email because we can't get Dark Galaxy as Raymond Jimenez in the same place. This doesn't make any sense to me. I'm just like, you can't. Bro, you're the only teacher who's saying this right now. I use a different. I'm like, can I use a different email? They're like, no, you can't change it. I'm like, whatever. It's cool. It's fine. Maybe I dropped a couple viewers, but now my name's Raymond Jimenez on YouTube, and that's
Okay.
that.
Bada bing. Watch his Rocket League compilations. I'm telling you, you won't be able to beat him. Guaranteed. You'd have to be. What's the name of the newest top rank? It's like Supersonic Legend, right? Supersonic? Now I'm crazy. Supersonic Legend. You'd have to be Supersonic Legend to beat this kid. I'm telling you, cracked out. Check out his compilations.
All
They're
right.
fantastic.
Check it out. Smoke is ready for you guys. You guys already know where to find us. A Pot Amongst Men, Instagram, Twitter. New thing, A Pot Amongst Men on the Stereo app. Stereo. It's essentially like the way you describe Twitch, where it's interactive, people can kind of join in.
I've heard of
It's
it.
like a podcast version of that.
Yes.
You can only have 2 people, but it's an audio thing, and you design your avatar, and it just looks like a little talking head that talks
that's
with
kinda
your mouth.
cool. It's like,
And you could just tune in to anybody, and it's a free app. It's called Stereo, spelled the way stereo is spelled. And search me, A Pot Amongst Men, very easy. And I'm trying to go live. I have to schedule it.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't just jump in with some random person, but I'm not going to do that right now. So anybody wants to jump on, we'll do a stereo show.
Absolutely.
It's great, and I'm open. I don't care who the fuck you are. You could be, the plumber from down the street. Let's do it. Let's talk. Let's chat. That's it. You know where to find us: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Amazon Podcasts. Make sure you subscribe. Our YouTube channel, A Pot Amongst Men. Make sure you like and subscribe because it helps us in all the algorithms, and I can use all the help I can get. Thank you. And that's it, guys. I appreciate you guys coming in, man. Let's go watch Ready Player One.
Let's do it. Let's watch
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.